Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Welcome back for another crafty venture. Today I'm hopping with the Whimsy Stamps video team for the Tricks or Treats video hopping giveaway. We will be featuring the Cutie Batootie stamps and dies. This is the project I'll be making today. You can see I went a little over the top. These are some of the other products that I had in mind to use today. Everything that I have used will be listed and linked downstairs in the video description box. Now let's go ahead and get started on the project before I jump into all the hop details, which you guys are going to want to stick around for because this is great information. So this project, again, it's a little over the top. You see that box? I've had that box for I don't know how many years. It was an old card kit box from Stampin' Up! And it has literally been sitting in my stash just waiting. So I decided I would use it as the foundation of this particular project. So you could see all of those products that I'm going to be putting to use, and right there I was using the gesso. I covered the entire box inside, outside, upside down with that gesso. And here I decided that I was going to use, in the beginning my thought process was to use both of these panels as the background because I had in my mind that I wanted this to be like a scene from a play or a stage scene. And so that was kind of going to be the backdrop. But as it goes, things kind of morph and they change and they take on a life of their own, and that's exactly what happened. So this stencil makes the perfect cobblestone, if you ask me, or stone wall or anything along those lines, but it's actually the giraffe stencil. And I just love it for this particular process. And I'm loving this Crypt Grit paste. I have to say it's amazing. But I did not like that the mortar essentially was white. So we addressed that in a little bit. And here is where I'm taking that entire box and I'm painting the whole thing again, inside, outside, upside down, painting it in black. So this is how I change that mortar color. So just wet down the whole panel, and then I add a little bit of pumice stone and a little bit of black soot and some water and just wiggle it around. Just let it flow and let it move and do its own thing. But the water really is the catalyst for all of that. So I've got it super sped up. In fact, most of this video is super sped up. This is about 5 hours worth of footage that I have somehow whittled it down to about 17 minutes. So I feel like right here what I'm doing really adds to the overall look of these cobblestone walls because it kind of feels like mold or mildew or something like that just growing into the mold or into the mortar. I don't know. So this is all the millions die cut pieces that I have. Now the paper that I used was really, really poor quality. So I end up layering these like 3 and 4 times just to make them sturdy enough to be able to withstand the use that I'm going to put them through. So again, using some pumice stone, black soot, and water, and I spray down just about everything. If it's not black, then I use the correct color. Like for instance, the moon, I use one of the mica sprays. I think it's Harvest Moon, but I'm not sure. But anyway, again, everything will be listed and linked downstairs. I love the tombstones. They are amazing. And this is another place where it kind of morphs because, as I said, I wanted to use those two kind of sunburst background panels, the slimline panels, but I decided to make the whole thing a wall, and I'm not mad about it. So I have that panel down. I've got the whole back covered at this point. That's where I'm finishing up, and then I wrap it around the sides, and I address the top and the bottom off screen, or the bottom and the sides I address off screen other than the cobblestone. The top I show on screen. So anyway, while we watch my process, let me tell you a little bit about the hop. So again, it's Whimsy Stamps, right? It's sponsored. It's our monthly video team hop. So it is called Tricks or Treats. It's a hop and giveaway. So each stop in this hop is sharing a project, of course, featuring the Whimsy Stamps Cutie Batootie, as I've already mentioned, as well as we all have other products. You know, we just do. And they're all going to be listed and linked downstairs on everybody's channel. So we encourage you to hop along to each stop because there's a chance to win a $100 gift card to Whimsy Stamps. $100 again, guys. I think I'm seeing a pattern here. So, of course, this hop is sponsored by Whimsy, and Whimsy just wants to share the love. So we will pick one winner at random via a YouTube random comment picker. So you want to make sure as you're hopping along, you leave a comment, because that's what's going to get you entered. And subscribe. We'd love it if you'd subscribe and come back to all of our channels and share in the crafty love. And then we will announce the winner on, this time it's going to be on Cathy Arenzana's YouTube channel. And we'll also put it in the description box of each of our videos. So the hop runs from October 31st, or no, it runs from today through the 31st. It closes on the 31st of October 2022 at 11:59 p.m. And the winner will be announced on November 2nd, as I said, on Cathy Arenzana's channel, but we're all going to have it in our description box as well. So I know that's a mouthful, I know that's a lot going on, but all the details can be found downstairs in the description box, so you don't have to worry about if you missed it, if I said it too fast. Just check down there. All those details are waiting for you. And so back to the process. This is where I have taken one of those slimline panels and decided to make them curtains. So totally changed kind of the overall aesthetic, if you will, of the project. Now I tried to add some detail like the pleating and the wrinkles. Ignore that, because that was highly unsuccessful. But I love these, like the drapery ties, and I just, it's a ribbon. It's a natural jute fiber ribbon, and it kind of frays on the end. So you just add a little bit of glue and rub that between your fingertips, and it will dry in whatever position you put it in. So these pieces right here are essentially the cornice or the valance, and I did them off screen, but it's just 3 or 4 layers of that really thin watercolor card that I mentioned in the beginning. And then again, I've used a bunch of different mica sprays and stains just to color it up, and I have those blips and blops of black to kind of look some more like mold and make it tattered looking. And then you can see that I'm adding my curtains, but I decided I needed to stop before I do the next one because I need to add some of my scene. And remember in that last video, I think it was actually last month's hop, when I made the spider scene, I said that I would be using this moss more and more throughout the season. Well, here it is, making another appearance. Sorry, I needed a sip again. Talking makes my mouth dry. So I initially just laid down some, I don't even know what kind of glue it is at this point, but just some PVA. And that wasn't holding it well enough, so pulled out the hot glue. My hot glue gun is definitely my friend for this project. And I just kind of smushed the moss down into the hot glue to hold it in place. And then here I'm building the scene. I'm adding my trees, just kind of randomly putting on some more of that glue. Oh no, this is where I'm still using the matte medium. I pull out something else because I emptied this whole jar, that whole little jar. But it's okay. It's okay. That's why we have it, right? Use our stuff. Don't just let it sit and wish it were being used. Show it some love. I love these tombstones, speaking of love. So they were die cut from the Build a Graveyard set, and I added a little bit of detail to each of them to make them a little bit different. With the skull, I added some crossbones, I added a rest in peace, some little batty bats, and yeah, and to glue them into my grass, if you will, the moss, literally just squeezing out a blob of hot glue and sticking it down in there and holding it till the glue dries, till it sets up. That's it. And I love that they're kind of willy-nilly and wonky and tipping over, and it reminds me of a very old cemetery and how, you know, they just kind of become disheveled, if you will, over time. So adding a pitchfork here, I also added a ladder just to kind of add some more elements and detail to the scene and kind of, I don't know, you can create your own story. Like, why is there a ladder in the cemetery? I don't know. You get to decide. So again, here's my glue gun, right? It's my best friend right now, gluing the bottoms of these curtains down to the stage. And then I have these, I love these fences. I have several different fences that I could have used. These again are from the Build a Graveyard set. And I kind of thought that I wanted them like a, I don't know, a black, but there was so much black, I just opted to keep them a little more lighter colored. And of course, if this is a stage and they're out in front, they would have more light on them than inside. And let me say that in the end, this is a light up. I used my easy lights and it lights up. So we'll be able to see that at the end. I did not show that process on screen because it was very much an afterthought. But there's my little, my gates, my fences into the cemetery, if you will. And again, just gluing some more of that moss down. I think the moss, not only does it kind of cover up any mistakes and create seams between things, but it also just really sets the stage. Like once that moss hits, it comes alive. It just, yeah. And so here's where I'm adding my cutie patooties. I love these bats, using some acetate just to make my things be able to quote unquote fly or hang from the sky, if you will, like the moon, and just scraps of acetate using a little bit of hot glue. Now if you have a super high heat hot glue, it may not work. Mine is more of a medium heat, so it did not melt the acetate. It got hot just enough to the, wait, how do I want to say it? Got to just the right temperature that, of course, the glue is melted to a point where it can stick and hold your pieces in place, but not melt the acetate. So just adding all of my other elements. I love these patooties. That one is hanging from the tree. He's sound asleep, upside down. He doesn't know that there's things going on around him. The little guy down there in the corner, if you remember the stamp set, he was actually peeking out from behind a pumpkin, and you can see the pumpkins in the top right corner. I cut them apart and I separate them, and I use them all three elements from that particular stamped image in different ways on this project. So this is where I'm creating the top. It's essentially the ceiling, if you will, of the stage. And it was just another scrap from my stash, scrap piece of cardboard, and I'm adding just some more pattern paper from Whimsy Stamps. This is from I think it's the farmhouse, if I remember correctly. And I just wanted the top to have a little more interest because that will be seen, of course. It didn't bother me that I had to kind of piecework some of it together to get it to be covered because it's a Halloween scene. It's all kind of grungy and tattered, and so that doesn't bother me at all. Again, using that hot glue to seal this, kind of like a lid on a box, if you will. And I trim things down as I need to, and I use that hot glue just to make sure that everything is secured in place. And I don't know if you saw, but I added the left curtain, and here is where I'm adding another little cornice or valance over the top of the curtains to kind of clean that up. Even though it's grungy and tattered and ugly, it cleans up the fact that the curtains didn't go all the way to the ceiling. So it just kind of, it's one of those finishing pieces, if you will. And it really just, I don't know, it creates, I don't know, it aids in setting the scene. I don't know how else to say it. My words are failing me yet again. So that's where we're at right now. What do you guys think? It's still really dark inside, and that's why I ended up going with the easy lights, but we'll get there in the end. I decided that I wanted to extend my scene up to the top. Now, I don't have a stairway or anything, but you can see it's the Grim Reaper. So I had all of these little planks already cut out, already die cut, already painted, and I just decided that I was going to trim them down and make them work for me in this particular situation. So using that hot glue to kind of adhere everything. And again, it's a Halloween scene. It's kind of willy-nilly. And that's my little fence. Again, using that hot glue it all down. I just put down a base of the glue, and then I stick the item down in it until the glue adheres, until it solidifies. Here I'm adding bits and pieces of the moss again to try to set that particular stage. Then I want my Grim Reaper to be standing, kind of hovering above the fence. So this is where I'm using the acetate, but in reverse. Instead of them hanging down, he'll be standing up, and we'll get to see him in just a second. And I'm sorry that I went off screen for so much of this. But there he is. He's levitating above the fence. I think that's pretty fun. So here we're gonna finish it off, and I'm adding this. I love this scarecrow. He's amazing, and of course he says Halloween, but he is like on the front of the marquee. That's the word I was looking for a little while ago. Like it's a marquee. He is on the front of the marquee. He's welcoming all of the visitors to the play. And yeah, creepy, super creepy. Now I do have trouble adhering him down only because the paper that I used is that not good. Not good watercolor card, but I make it work in the end. It takes me 3 different adhesives, but we make it work. There I've got some stars going in, and this is just kind of all of the finishing pieces. You can see there on the bottom and the front that I've added some little skulls on spikes. I don't know if you saw that piece going down when I put them in, but I'm just adding some more trees to the background, and I've got stars going on, and then I'm going to add some more to the top. This is where I cut the pumpkins apart, as you can see. Yep. So fun. And I have a bunch of different grasses and greenery from the, I can't remember what it's called, something weeds. It's relatively new. I think it was just in October. But again, all the products that I use are going to be listed and linked downstairs for your convenience if you're interested in going to look at them. I am so happy with this. Like, I thought I was going to have way too many die cuts, but because I had to layer them, and because I'm so extra and I'm putting all the things on here, I really didn't have that much left over. And what I do have left over obviously can be used on another project down the road. So while this comes together, let me remind you of the hop. So this is for a giveaway, a $100 gift card from Whimsy Stamps, sponsored by Whimsy Stamps. You want to hop along to all of the videos in the hop. I will have the next person in the lineup linked at the very top downstairs, so you can just hop right over. I will actually try to have the whole hop. I always try to have the whole lineup if I'm able to, and that way if something should happen along the way and you get lost, you can always come back here and we'll get you to where you need to be. But again, a $100 gift card, so comment, like, subscribe, and yeah, let me know what you think. These are, of course, all of my stills. And in the meantime, guys, while you watch this, I'm going to go ahead and tap out. But again, this is Nancy the Handy Scandy, and I thank you for joining me. And I will have the winner announced back here in just a few days. So stay tuned. And until next time, mwah, I'm out.